Welcome to this lesson on activity basics in Android development using Kotlin. In this video, we will explore one of the most fundamental concepts in Android, the activity class. An activity serves as the entry point for user interaction in your Android applications. Understanding activities and their life cycle is essential for building robust Android apps. Let's dive in and learn how activities work and why they are so important in Android development. So, what exactly is an activity? An activity represents a single screen with a user interface in an Android application. Think of it as one complete screen that users see and interact with. For example, in a messaging app, the login screen is one activity, the chat list is another activity, and each conversation screen is yet another activity. The activity is the main gateway where users interact with your application. Every screen the user sees in your app is powered by an activity class. It's the foundation that connects your code to what users see on their device screens. Let's see how to create an activity in Kotlin. You start by declaring a class, in this case main activity, that inherits from AppCompatActivity. Notice the colon followed by AppCompatActivity with parentheses. This is Kotlin's syntax for inheritance. Inside the class, you override the onCreate method, which takes a bundle parameter called savedInstanceState. The first thing you do is call super.onCreate, passing the savedInstance state. This ensures the parent class initialization happens properly. Then, you call setContentView and pass r.layout.activity_main. This line connects your XML layout file to this activity, making your user interface visible on the screen. Let's break down the key components of an activity. First, AppCompatActivity is a base class that provides backward compatibility for modern Android features on older devices. By extending AppCompatActivity, your app can use newer features while still supporting older Android versions. Next is the onCreate method. This is the first method called when your activity is created. It's where you initialize your user interface and set up any initial configuration. Finally, setContentView is the method that links your XML layout file to this activity. It takes the layout resource and displays it on the screen. This is how your visual design becomes visible to users. Now let's talk about the activity lifecycle. What is the lifecycle? As users navigate through your app, activities go through different states. For example, when a user opens your app, switches to another app, or presses the back button, the activity transitions between various states. The Android system manages these transitions by calling specific callback methods at each stage. These callback methods allow you to perform specific tasks depending on what's happening with your activity. Understanding the life cycle is crucial because it helps you manage resources efficiently and provide a smooth user experience. Let's explore the first three lifecycle methods. First is onCreate. This method is called when the activity is created for the first time. Here, you initialize components, set up your user interface, and prepare everything your activity needs. Next is onStart. This method is called when the activity becomes visible to the user. The activity is now on screen, but the user may not be interacting with it yet. Finally, there's onResume. This is called when the activity comes to the foreground and the user can actively interact with it. At this point, your activity is running and fully interactive. These three methods represent the creation and visibility phases of an activity. Now let's look at the remaining lifecycle methods. First is onPause. This is called when the activity is about to lose focus. For example, when a dialog appears or the user switches to another app. Here, you should pause operations like animations or video playback. Next is onStop. This method is called when the activity is no longer visible to the user. It's completely hidden by another activity. This is a good place to release resources that aren't needed when the activity isn't visible. Then there's onDestroy. This is called when the activity is finishing or being destroyed by the system. It's your last chance to clean up resources. Finally, onRestart is called when a stopped activity is about to be restarted. This happens when the user navigates back to a previously stopped activity. Let's visualize how these lifecycle methods flow together. When an activity starts, it goes through onCreate, then onStart, and finally onResume. At this point, the activity is running and the user can interact with it. When the user leaves the activity, it goes through onPause, then onStop, and finally onDestroy when it's completely removed from memory. This flow shows how an activity progresses from creation to destruction. Understanding this flow is essential because it tells you exactly when to initialize resources, when to pause operations, and when to clean up. By implementing the appropriate lifecycle methods, you can ensure your app behaves correctly at every stage. Here's how you implement lifecycle methods in Kotlin. Each method follows the same pattern. You use the override fun keyword, followed by the method name. For onStart, you first call super.onStart to ensure the parent class behavior executes. Then you add your custom code, like preparing resources when the activity becomes visible. For onResume, you again call super.onResume first, then add code that should run when the activity is in the foreground and interactive. For onPause, you call super.onPause, then add code to pause ongoing operations. Remember, always call the super version of each lifecycle method. This ensures the Android framework can properly manage your activity's lifecycle. Let's recap the key points from this lesson. First, an activity is the entry point for user interaction in Android apps. It represents a single screen that users see and interact with. Second, every activity in Kotlin must extend AppCompatActivity, which provides backward compatibility and modern features. Third, lifecycle methods let you manage activity states and transitions effectively. By overriding these methods, you control what happens at each stage of your activity's life. And finally, always remember to call super when overriding lifecycle methods. This ensures proper initialization and cleanup by the Android framework. With this foundation in activity basics and lifecycle, you're ready to build more complex Android applications.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.